Good morning. So one person's awake in this room. Good morning. Not so loud, I'm still sleeping. Everybody have a good night? Okay. So, for those of you who may not know me, I'm Susie Novis still, and I'm president of the International Myeloma Foundation. So, what I thought we'd do this morning before we get into all the formal presentations is I'd like to just tell you guys a little bit about the IMF, and I think you'll be surprised at some of the things I'm going to show you. How many people here have been to our website and floated around and got a lot of information? Okay, that's good. So let's see if I can show you something new. So first of all, this is a very special year for us because we're celebrating our 25th anniversary. Not Dr. Dury and I personally, but the IMF. So 25 years ago, the IMF was formed, 1990. And we've had a lot of milestones since then. We started our scientific advisory board in 1992. We held our first research fundraiser in 1992. First clinical conference ever for doctors treating myeloma patients was also in 1992. It was a really busy year. And then I went to this meeting in London called ISH, and I saw doctors meeting the professor. And I thought, well, why can't patients meet the doctors? And I was told that that was a terrible idea, that patients didn't want to become educated and they wouldn't turn out for something like that. And I said, really? So in 1993, we held the first patient and family seminar. No organizations did that at that time. And it was right here in Los Angeles, and we had hundreds of people show up. So I felt like, na. See, I told you I was right. Being very grown up, of course. So the first support group, this is really interesting because the first support group was started by 4 women in a coffee shop in San Francisco. And today, we have support groups all around the world. So how many people here belong to a support group? Raise your hand. Okay, and for the support group leaders that are here, can you stand up, please? Okay. What's your group? Where's your group? Inland Empire. Where's your group? I'm sorry? Never heard of that place. Where's your group? Pasadena. Where's your group? Where's your group? San Fernando Valley. Did I miss anybody? Okay, let's give these people a big round of applause. They do excellent, excellent work. In 1995, we awarded our first research grant for multiple myeloma. It went to a gentleman called Dr. Atsushi Ogata, who was working at that time with Ken Anderson up in Boston. And we've been giving out research grants ever since, as you'll see shortly. And then we launched our advocacy program in 1997 because we know that patients need to be empowered and have a voice to make change happen. And change is happening thanks to our advocacy team, which you'll hear about later as well. In 2006, my dear friend and colleague Diane Moran started the Nurse Leadership Board. Many of you heard one of the members of the Nurse Leadership Board yesterday, and they do wonderful, wonderful work. In 2010, we held the first International Myeloma Working Group conference. The Scientific Advisory Board morphed into the International Myeloma Working Group, which now is comprised of about over 140 doctors from countries all around the world. In 2012, we launched our Black Swan Research Initiative, which you'll hear about a lot more from Dr. Dury later. And this research initiative has really taken off. In 2 short years, we are making a huge stride. We had held the first Chinese myeloma working group in 2012 and the first masterclass. And last night, for those of you who weren't here, our masterclass team is here with us today, and they've been here for the past week, and they'll be going home sadly tomorrow. But please stand up say hello to people who might not have had the opportunity to meet you last night. And in 2015, we morphed the GMA, the Global Myeloma Association, into the Global Myeloma Action Network, which is comprised of members from all over the world coming together to make change happen for myeloma patients around the world. So today, we're 25, and we've reached almost 400,000 people around the world, including patients, doctors, and nurses. So that's quite an accomplishment. We focus in 4 areas: education, support, research, and advocacy. So in education, how many people are calling the info line? That's Missy, Judy, and Paul calling the info line? 1, 2, 2. What's wrong with you people? It's free. They're really smart. So anytime you have a question, just call 800-452-CURE, and you can ask Missy, Paul, or Judy questions, and they're really, really incredibly well informed. They answer over 4,000 calls and almost 4,000 emails each year. So patient and family seminars. How many people attend a seminar? That's a trick question. You're all attending a seminar. So just in case you can't get enough of the seminars, there's one more that's going to happen this year in Stamford, Connecticut. So we're celebrating 22 years of doing these wonderful meetings. Kelly Cox came up with a really good idea several years ago, and he launched the regional community workshops. There's many of those taking place all around the country, and the ones in green haven't happened yet. So if you want to go to Ann Arbor, Richmond, Virginia, or Washington, D.C., hop on a plane and go to a regional community workshop. They're really, really great as well. So we are international, and we have lots of global initiatives. That's my wonderful colleague, Nadia Eckelbeer, who is the director of IMF in Europe and in the Middle East. And she is incredibly active. So these are all the places where Nadia has been holding meetings and collaborating with patient groups where they exist, and where they don't, she's doing them with all the members of the International Myeloma Working Group doctors. So there's lots happening all across Europe. The Myeloma Minute, how many people subscribe to the Minute? It's free. Every hand should go up. It's weekly information. Myeloma Minute is short bursts of important information, links to articles. It's really, really great. And for example, a recent topic was, can a longevity feast be the key to a longer life? There's an island, a Greek island called Ikaria, and these people there live to be well over 100. Part of it is they get up in the morning and they start drinking right away. Red wine. Okay? And a lot of them don't have clocks, and they eat all organic food and a lot of goat. I'm not really a big fan of goat, but I think that the wine is a way to go. And another one was, could a cancer drug value framework limit access? And of course, access to these, we have wonderful, wonderful drugs, but it's really a challenge for some people to get access because of the cost. So that's what our advocacy team is doing, and you'll be hearing more about that. So just to show you how broad our reach is, the Myeloma Minute, in English, over 39,000 subscribers, and again, it's free. And then you can see in French, Italian, German, Spanish, and we have lots of other foreign language publications. And those are how many downloads so far this year. Publications, we have the Patient Handbook, the Concise Review, and our Understanding series. I'm sure many of you picked up Understanding series and all the booklets out there. They're great, and of course we translate them. We work with members of our International Myeloma Working Group to do the translations, and we have them in French, Italian, German, Spanish, Russian, Arabic, and Turkish. I'm particularly fond of the Turkish one. So as I mentioned, we are very, very proud to have these wonderful, wonderful doctors from China with us, and our faculty was Dr. Dury, Tom Martin, Dr. Krishnan, Joe McHale, who's here with us. Joe, where are you? In the back. What are you doing sitting way back there? Okay, baby, I'll try and do my best. And of course, Dr. Vesio. And the course was just fantastic, and they had a very tough test yesterday, and they all passed, and they're taking this really wonderful information that they gained here back to their colleagues in China. So our website, good news, this website, which drives me absolutely batty, we're scrapping it, and under construction right now is a brand new site, which is going to be wonderful, much more user-friendly. But nonetheless, we've had over 2 million visits to our site this year. And it's only, what month is this? I'm losing my mind. No, it's August, I know. So I'm sure that you'll be really appreciative of the new site once it gets up and running. One of the things that Dr. Dury started was this 10 steps to better care. And when you go there, there's a tab for patients, there's a tab for nurses, there's a tab for doctors. And these are the 10 steps. And you'll see how many visits and how many downloads people are doing, because this is an incredible tool for the entire myeloma community. So I encourage you to go there and also tell your doctor about this. Say, hey doc, have you looked at the 10 steps to better care? Because a lot of times you're seeing a doctor, that might not be a myeloma expert. They might be, specializing in something else, but they also treat myeloma. So this is a very, very helpful tool. And as you know, knowledge is power. So web visits by country. There's organizations around the world, and yet everybody still comes to the IMF's website for information because we're the best. Let's face it. I'm not biased, of course. So Europe, Middle East, Africa, I think it's very, very impressive that we have such a broad reach because we're all together in this. Asia, Oceania, Latin America. It's really, really a testament to the hard work of my team, and I'm very, very proud of them. So we're on the web, of course. So we tweet, we're on Facebook, we have IMF TV, YouTube, we're blogging, webcasts. So, I think we should all put down our devices once in a while and just read a good book, but in the meantime, here we are. So Ask Dr. Dury, you can submit a question. And it was really fun because not that long ago, this couple came out from Staten Island, support group leader and her husband, and she had a question. And I said, we're filming Dr. Dury today. So she went in and she asked Dr. Dury her question and was filmed. It was really, really fun. So if you have a question, submit it, and chances are Dr. Dury will answer it. Won't you, Brian? So again, here's just some stats on how active we are on IMF TV. Physician education, yes, doctors need to go to school too. So every year at the American Society of Hematology, that's the big, big meeting that's held every year. It's called ASH, and every year we do a symposium for clinicians. And our room size kept growing and growing and growing. And they're very strict, the fire code people. They come in and they, look to see if we were overcrowded. We always are, and last year we had over 1,000 people attending this. So these are doctors from all over the world who come and they listen to the members of the International Myeloma Working Group tell them all the latest information and advances in myeloma treatment and management. And as you will probably recognize some of the names up there, like Dr. Dury, maybe not, well, Shaji Kumar, for anybody who's gone to the Mayo Clinic, and the others are from Spain and France. So as I mentioned earlier, my colleague Diane Moran, you heard the nurse yesterday, Nurse Leadership Board is very, very important. They're really the key to making sure that you can tolerate the drugs and you can manage the side effects that are often common. So in the support department, we have our wonderful support group team there, Robin, Nancy, Kelly, Anne, and Sue. Each year, we hold a support group leader summit. Who here attended the summit? Okay, what did you think? It's great. Can you see yourself in the picture? Okay, good. So this was the 16th annual Support Group Leader Summit, and we're really grateful to our pharma partners for supporting this amazing event. So 100 support group leaders representing 70 support groups come together for a really intensive weekend, and they learn a lot from each other and from other speakers, and they take that information back to their group. So we're really, really, to all the support group leaders, big round of applause. We do a lot with support groups. We have quarterly conference calls. We have a Living Well with Myeloma. And again, we bring support group leaders to this meeting called ASH in December. Advocacy. Where's Taylor? Is Taylor in the room? He's probably out at the reg desk. So our U.S. advocacy, Megan, Taylor, and Lindsay, who's new, they really, really are doing an incredible job of ensuring that the oral parity drug bill is passed in every state, and they're almost there. Taylor has a graphic, and there's a few states left, but this means that people can get help. Taylor, I'm talking about you. How many states have the oral drug parity bill passed in? 40. Okay. How many states are there? Okay, so they're really, really working very, very hard. And there's two coalitions, PEAK and SPEAK. PEAK is the national and SPEAK is the state. So a lot of these bills are passed in the state, but then we also need to get them passed on a federal level. Am I correct? Yes. Okay, good. Okay, so I think everybody should get involved in advocacy because you have a voice and it's important that you use it. So don't forget to meet with Taylor and see how you might be able to lend a hand. So around the world, we've spread across the world. We have IMF Japan, Latin America, IMF Israel, and IMF Europe. And these are coalitions. We have an affiliate in the Czech Republic, Myeloma Japan, Australia, Canada, South Korea, better than North Korea, and in Turkey, especially now with North Korea. So the Global Myeloma Action Network, this is new. We started a couple years ago, and we are in all these countries. These are members of GMAN, and as I said, we get together twice a year, and this was the meeting that took place in June, and it's really wonderful that we're truly a global organization. Research, because we are on the brink. You heard Dr. Dury say starting cure trials, using the C word. It's amazing. So we've been giving out research grants, as I mentioned before, but we've given out 113 of these grants. And today, the IMF is the only myeloma foundation awarding junior and senior grants. This is really important because they have great ideas, and we need to keep bringing new people into the field. Myeloma is a very, very hot field to be in, but it's important to keep getting new people and junior people involved. As I was mentioning, the Myeloma Working Group has a summit each year. It's held at the time of the European Hematology Association meeting, EHA. We just held the 6th annual IMWG Summit, and it focused on the topics you see there: double refractory stem cell, genome sequencing, new drug approvals, cost of drugs. You'll be hearing more about that later. You might recognize a gentleman sitting in the back of the room, Joe McHale, and Dr. Dury, along with Ola Landgren and Antonio Palumbo. We do this thing called the International Myeloma Working Group Conference Series, Making Sense of Treatment. And it's wonderful. It's live streamed, and it's really fun to see these guys debate these top issues. So the last one was held in Vienna, and the next one will be held at the time of ASH. But you can go online and look at them. They're really, really they're entertaining, and they're very informative. Our Black Swan Research Initiative, I would suggest that you ask Dr. Dury about that. He'd be happy to talk to you about it more. And we truly are what I like to call one myeloma nation. If we could dim the lights, and I'm in Hollywood, roll it.